Welcome to Hass Discusses. I'm the host, Mike Hass, owner of the Mike Media Incorporated empire, and I am here with podcast host, stand-up comedian, financial planner, moviegoer, gamer, Cody Michael.
Gosh, when you list it out like that, it sounds like I'm so busy. I guess I am, but it's rare that I list out all the things I do like that. That feels nice.
Yeah. I mean, when you're busy, you don't realize it, you know? You're just in tunnel vision. You're just, I just put out a podcast and then I put 5 different clips of it up on my YouTube channel. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I just had the Joe Rogan in my ear, and it's just like you're going, you know? Well, you don't even know you don't know that you're doing stuff when you're doing it. Tunnel vision. Anyways.
Yep.
So, I made a top 10 podcast list on Twitter, and in the top 5 I had Joe Rogan Experience, Duncan Trussell, Church Was Happening Now with Joey Diaz, and SoCo Show, and the Christy Isla podcast, and then I had to delete the list because of the allegations toward Christy Isla. Which I don't know how I feel about that, because, he's not in jail yet, but, it's all fugazi until you're in jail. So let's talk about someone that's not in jail. And that's Cody Michael's.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, let me say first, what an honor. I mean, just to be on that list, in terms of podcast, as well as anybody, to be on anyone's list along with Joe Rogan and those others is a pretty big deal. So yeah, we get so excited when anyone listens. So if anyone listens and likes it, that's over the moon for us. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, when I listen to podcasts, I think of variety. With most of the reason everybody likes Joe Rogan is because the variety of his guests. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's got Elon Musk, and then he has his Joey Diaz. They're completely different people. Joey Diaz is ex cocaine dealer, ex robber, and then you have technical genius. You know, but with your podcast, you have the variety of your subject matter. You talk movie reviews and new TV shows, but then you also go into some guy's tweets. I don't even know the guy. I don't even know who Sheik is. I just listen to his tweets, and I'm just like, this shit's funny. I'm pretty sure he's a wrestler or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a pro. We've been doing that that's one of our longest running gags. We've had over 100, and we'll tape later tonight. We'll tape episode 159 of the show. So we've been doing it for a while. And that's one of the longest running bits that we've had is the Sheik tweets. So the Iron Sheik, WWE legend. We read his Twitter because he's great on Twitter. And we've been doing that for a couple of years now. That's a fun segment. We like it. We try to mix it up, People come to us. I feel like people come to us wanting reviews, and we try to give them a little bit extra every week as well. And the show's always changing and evolving, and that lets us play around, which is super fun. We wouldn't want to do the same thing every week. We'd get boring.
Yeah, my first podcast wasn't even really a podcast. It was just a video of 5 minutes of me talking about Knives Out, and I called it a podcast. It wasn't I didn't even know and I started listening to podcasts last year, and then I was like, this is too short. And then I started adding music reviews. It's just everybody's evolving, as a person, but then they're also evolving with the creativity and how the videos are structured and the podcasts are structured. I thought, well, should I have guests on? Okay, why don't I do one podcast that's only guests, and then one podcast that's only me? So then,
I like that.
Yeah, so this is Hass Discusses, and I only have guests on this, but so it's more of just relax. I have a couple questions planned, and I'm just relaxing, and we're just gonna get into whatever we get in about. But then with my Hasscast, I have 30 different fucking subjects in sections, and all this crazy shit. So this is just I'm chilling. I'm just yeah. So evolving is key in people and work,
Oh, always. Gotta mix it up or you get bored. And if you're bored, then your listeners sure as hell bored. So keep people surprised a little bit.
Yeah. So you've been on SoCo show for I looked it up. Let me see. I said it said on Anchor, it said August 7th, 2017. I've changed since 2017. Have you changed since 2017?
Oh my gosh. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And so is the show. And that's what's fun, is it reflects that. So like when we started the show, we were, for one thing, we were doing sports as part of the show. And Seth and I are huge sports fans. And that ended up being something we had to kind of move off. And we've done a separate sports show for a little bit. And that's one thing we had to change, but just the way what we're focusing on, what we're talking about has evolved over that time. We're doing a lot less. If you listen to some of those early episodes, we're doing a lot more like fart and dick jokes. We still do a lot of them.
Yeah.
But you used to do quite a bit more. And I think the show has matured a little bit along with us. We've had to talk about some more mature things as they've been in the news. So yeah. I mean, as much as someone changes over 3 years, the show has alongside us. And gosh, I think of myself in 2017. I'd slap that guy around for how dumb he is, I think. So.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't even like, dude. I don't even think I hit puberty then. Like, you know, it's just like it. No, but then like it's just like, you know, you think of all your, you can't stay up all night thinking about all your mistakes. You know, you gotta act. You gotta act based on it. But you know, it's fun. Sometimes it's like I like to just look back at how I used to act, and I just like laugh at that. I'm like, whatever, you know, it's whatever. Just fucking, just
you live and learn.
Play your video games, sip that coffee.
Yep.
Whatever. You know, that's the majority of my day. Video games and coffee.
I like it.
Yeah. 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 So, you know, when I first heard the podcast, I thought this is a podcast recorded in Southern California, and then I realized, oh shit. Seth and Cody, SoCo.
Yep.
Has anybody else gotten confused with your name before?
It happens all the time. Yeah, because it's what's interesting about it is there's Southern California, SoCo, everyone knows, and then there's Southern Comfort, which is a drink that people know, and people assume it's one of those two things, and then the third thing people assume because. Obviously my name's Cody. A lot of people really close to me just call me Co. And so some people who know us assume that the show is my show and it's SoCo, and that's why. But Seth Ott, S-O, his initials make up SoCo, and it's something that only exists for that reason. It's not something we like talk about other than the fact that it's our podcast title. And so it's kind of funny, and we only ever explain it in that first episode. We talk about we make a point to say like Seth Ott is the So and I'm the Co, but since then we haven't mentioned it. So yeah, I'm not surprised that people are confused.
Yeah.
And we haven't explained it more than just that one time 3 years ago. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, like yeah, I mean, yeah, I found you off of J-Buck's Patreon exclusive Movies and Nonsense, and I was like, who's this girl in the background? That's funny. I don't know. I don't want to say that because is it offend you anymore?
No. I mean, I've been, my voice has been pretty much the same for 20 years. So what's funny is voice. Like for a while, I appreciate that. For a while it was, you know, oh, Cody's got the high pitched voice, and it was like a funny thing. And I used to take shit for it when I was in like high school, but eventually it's unique to me, you know, people in the same way that other people have unique voices. You know, like I think of, Colin Cowherd, who's a sportscaster on Fox Sports, and he has a really unique voice. It's not your typical like, and here we are talking sports radio. It's not that typical
voice. 4 bond males.
Yeah. And so I like that it's unique, and I get a fair amount of compliments on it. Even I'm told I sound relaxing, which I'll take any day of the week. So yeah, it's one of those funny things. I don't mind people poking fun at it. It's you know, it's unique. Yeah. So people are gonna do that.
Yeah, I often get called nervous, but I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's a great trait. It's a great voice, and it's just like, you know, it's a great voice. Yeah.
I think it contrasts well with Seth.
He's so like deep. He's like, he looks like he sounds
so deep.
He sounds like he looks like a lumberjack or something like that. Like he sounds like he has a beard and he wears flannels. Yeah.
I don't know if he wears a lot of flannels, but he's a beard. He's a bigger guy, bigger than me. And so he looks more like he sounds than I think I do, but it's nice on our show. You can always tell who's talking. Very distinct between the two of us, at least. And Jared falls right in the middle when we have him on, so it's kind of
He's just
nice.
like the high pitched. I'm Jared Buckendall, and I fuck them all.
Yeah, that's just Jared. Nah, but yeah, I love Jared. Oh my god, he's like, he's just. I did a podcast with him like June. It was great, and yeah.
Such a pro.
And we be gaming. Such a pro. Yeah, like graphic design's a big part of doing anything content related. Yeah.
You know, they don't talk about it, but like if you're gonna be a YouTuber or really even if you're podcasting and it's audio only, someone's got to put together a title for you. If you're on video, those transitions and things, and Jared's got all that background, which is amazing. And I mean, you can see his attention to detail. It's really what sets him apart from other folks at his level is the ability to put the production value in, and so it's
and all that branding and all that.
Like,
I had the benefit of I'm in school that I go to. I learned graphic design. Like they'd say, maintain color consistency, pick two colors, and simplicity is key, and centering, all bullshit that's boring, but you gotta have it. You gotta have it. It's like writing checks. You gotta know how to do it.
Exactly. And there are ways, right? And that's why you see on YouTube like a lot of similar looking stuff, because they've the science has been done. Like if you center something and if you stick to a 2-color palette and if you have similar patterns throughout, then that's what gets clicks. And people that have that figured out, I guess I don't knock anyone for lacking originality in those things, because there is a pattern that works. So
yeah, we were talking about the way the were you saying something? I feel bad.
I was just gonna say, like, you see similar looking thumbnails, but the reason they're similar is because they all are the right way to do a thumbnail. So yeah, there's a correct answer when it comes to those things.
Like when you
found them, and lots of folks have found them.
Like when you have the movie, when you're doing a movie review in the thumbnail, you gotta have the movie poster, like in the fucking thumbnail. You gotta have that there. You gotta have that there.
The poster, you have yourself in there too, and maybe you're doing a wacky face or whatever, and you have your logo, and that's every film review. Yeah, that one. This is the movie. Yeah, they're everywhere, and that's because they get across. This is the guy. He's gonna talk about that movie. It gets it across real easy.
For sure, yeah. And we were even talking about when we were playing Fall Guys. We were talking about how so and so like the background of the room that's in blue, and it has 2 posters on each side, and it's the camera's facing towards the corner, and they have the Blu-ray shelves. Chris Stuckman and Sean Chandler, but they're big enough. They're not gonna hear this. I mean, I have DM'd Sean Chandler a couple times, but he's not like on a constant basis with me like you and Jay Buck, but like I don't know, he won't take offense to that. He even said, I took Chris Tuckman style because of background, because it looks good.
Yeah, it's cool.
And he always
I think it's if that's what your world is like, if that's what your room is like, hell yeah. Because I think that's what a lot of us, if we're honing in on movies, like you've got some movie posters there. I've got movie posters. That's what we all have in common, is we have movie posters in our house. So you put that behind you. It's an easy way for folks to see, oh yeah, this guy's like me. He's got movie posters in his room. I'm gonna watch his video.
Yeah, I got Rushmore, Wes Anderson, Taxi Driver, which I've been a big fan of that for a while, but I feel like after it was one of those cool underground movies that was pretty good until Joker came out. Everybody started dick eating off of it. Everybody's like, oh my god, the Joker film has so much inspiration from Taxi Driver. I mean, it obviously does, but like now it's like seeing your favorite rapper become mainstream. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like. And then I have Jules Winfield.
Jules is one of my all-time favorite characters at all. That's a great one.
What up, Jules?
And I've got a picture of him. There's an Instagram. Oh yeah, there you go. And, you got them both. There's an Instagram profile called Celebs on Sandwiches, and they do pencil drawings of it's like colored pencil, I guess, of celebrities that are like cartoonized, and then they typically will be seated on top of a giant sandwich, which is really weird. I don't know what the idea was, but it's various different celebrities with various different sandwiches depending on who they are, right? So I have a Jules. It's Sam Jackson as Jules, and he's sitting on a Royale with cheese. And I've got it printed, and it's hanging up in my kitchen. It's one of my favorite pieces of art that I have. It's awesome.
So like they be selling that? Like
yeah, I paid
that's
like
cool.
$30 for a print.
If they had like Adam Sandler sitting on top of the gem, the opal, holy shit. I mean, I know it's not a sandwich, but like, dude, I am obsessed with Uncut Gems. Like, I've seen it about 15 times. I love like, and I was talking in the game chat. We were talking about so one of y'all likes Good Time more. Is that you?
I liked them both. I think I liked Uncut Gems more. I think Patrick might have said he liked Good Time.
Yeah. It's a bit much for
both
people.
Great. It's a lot. I mean, and so is Uncut Gems. I'm amazed you've watched it. I love Uncut Gems. I'm not going to watch it 15 times probably just because it's.
I love the chaos.
The chaos and the tension, and it's great. It's what I love about the movie, but it's why I'm not going to watch it that many.
It's just so different for me.
When you watch it every time, are you still with the tension every time?
Yeah, it's insane to watch. Like, it's just like I don't know. The reason I like it is because it makes me feel like I haven't felt before when watching a movie. Because every movie's supposed to be hopeful. It's supposed to be the characters starting off in their journey at home, and then they go halfway through, and there's a midpoint, and then everybody loses, and then they have to pick themselves back up, and then defeat the bad guy at the end. No, it's just like they're just like, you resurface your fucking swimming pool. Like, the whole fucking movie is just like nonstop. Like, oh my god, it's insane, and it's just like they don't. And I feel like, I mean, it's just like it makes me feel different than I've ever felt before when watching a movie. And there's obviously other intense movies. Like like the speed of the movie is like Wolf of Wall Street. Like, it's so like. The whole movie. It's just
That's such a good way of describing the pace of that movie.
Yeah. And I love the shot. There's like this one shot that I had on my Instagram story of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at the phone when he's like scamming someone. And he's like,
yeah.
and you could see like the veins in his fingers like pulsating, and I don't know what. I'll show it right now. It's hilarious. Yeah, look at this. Hold on. Look at that. Oh shit, that's horrible. The lighting.
Yeah, I know the shot you're talking about. Oh my god, he's perfect in that.
Yeah, he just looks so like.
Oh, cause that's when he's trying to show the guys behind him how to make a sale, and he's talking to the guy in front. Yeah. Oh, that's a great scene.
Yeah. That guy, the real Jordan Belfort guy, has done so many interviews, and he's like trying to sell courses on how to sell stuff. Like, he's a good. I wish I could have that work ethic, that freaking.
Yeah, he's for as much of a scumbag he is, it's
yeah.
He works hard. He works hard.
For sure. At least what he's doing now is legitimate.
Yeah, better to have him on the good side of things, I suppose.
We can't have him in the dark side. Let's talk about Seth. Who is he to you besides a podcast host? How long have you known him? I've been scrolling down through your Instagram and I see pictures of you with him in like 2013, but how long does that relationship go?
Dude, it predates everything. I met Seth in, I think, the second grade. That's as far back as we've been able to trace it. And what's funny is we don't really know how we met. None of us remembers that interaction. We've just always been tight. So the earliest thing we can remember is that we were on a bowling team together when we were in like the second grade. It was like a rec Saturday bowling.
Bowling.
And so our parents would take us and we'd hang out. And since then, I mean, we've been thick as thieves ever since. Like our parents just accept each other's kid as an additional kid in their family, and we've been super, super tight. And we've lived together, we've lived separately, and now he lives in Iowa, I live in Oregon, and it's stayed, it's my best friend in the world, oldest friend in the world. So it was only right. I don't know if I could do the podcast with someone I wasn't that tight with. I'm not saying, I don't know that I couldn't, but it's been really easy to do it with your best friend, and everything is collaboration and everything. We just think the same way. We know what the other is going to say next. it makes it easy. And my hope is that you can hear that, and that's some of the feedback I get from our show is just the rapport.
Yeah.
We have. I mean, you're not going to beat that unless you're a co-host you've known for 20 years. You're just not going to have that.
You're like Joe Rogan and Jamie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
Pull it up, Jamie. Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, you guys have the bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how does like you're based in Oregon, like, but you're originally from, Iowa, so
Yep.
like Iowa, born and raised.
Yep.
Yeah, do you know Jared Buckendall for how long have you known J Buck?
Yeah, it's been a while actually now with Jared. We met, so when I was in college at Iowa State, I was part of a hip hop club. It was a dance club. And
we gotta talk about that. Oh my God.
We could, if you get me, I'm gonna warn you, if you get me started, I could talk about it for hours. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. And Jared was in the club. That's how we met. We were, if you can believe it, I know it's gonna seem weird, and then you'll go see video of us talking about a movie and being total geeks. But Jared and I met as hip hop dancers and choreographers. That's how we got in touch, and that would have been in probably 2012 or so.
Yeah, you went to Iowa State, and then you
That's
went
right.
to. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have right down
Iowa
what high
State.
school you went to. I have everything.
O-line, yeah, man. Little school, but yeah, that's my little town.
O-line.
days. Yep.
Yes, you're at a hip hop club. Like what year? Like what year is this? Like.
Oh man. So I was in it the entire time I was in college. So that was from 2010 until 2014. So we were doing a lot of. So the way the club worked is, you could sign up to be a choreographer, and then for a semester you'd work on like a 4-minute piece, and then we would everyone who did that would put them into a show at the end of the semester. And so Jared and I had several shows where we each had dances of our own, and we were both in the one that the other guy had choreographed. And at the time, you'll like this, we were doing a lot of Drake at the time. Drake was fully out there as a let's see, Nothing Was the Same album came out.
Oh my! I am unhealthily
While I was in
I have an unhealthy obsession. I have an unhealthy obsession with Drake. Like,
Yep.
dude, oh my God.
That album is my number one favorite album of all time. Is that one? And
Mine's Take Care, but I feel like they're both.
Take Care is incredible.
I feel like
too.
I just like I listen to Nothing Was the Same more, but like I don't know. I have a sweet spot for like all his albums. Like I love his album span with like. I feel like he has the 3 best project run ever, which is Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, and If You're Reading This, It's Too Late.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
that 3 project run, because I'm saying project and not album because the third one is a mixtape
Mixtape, yeah.
It's just like that run is just historically beautiful, and I feel like he's still out and about today. He got a number 1. Tizzy Sly was number 1 this year.
Yeah.
But like it's just insane how much I'm obsessed with him, man.
Well, and that run that you're talking, that was like when we were doing most of what we were doing. So Drake was all over our shows, and that because what was great about it was not only was it great hip hop and like the critics and the historians and things, they could find things to like, but commercially it was huge. So we had great beats, great lyrics to dance with, and then we knew people knew those tracks when we took it to the show. So Drake was great for that. The other guy I was doing a lot of Kanye at the time.
Oh my God, I love Kanye. I'm like, if I was 18, I'd vote for him.
Yeezus album. When
that's my favorite Kanye album. I'd tie Yeezus with 808s and Heartbreaks for my because 808s was so influential with the and with and Kid Cudi on that was like, I've always said this about Kanye and Drake and Lil Wayne. I've always said that they existed in one of my favorite times for music ever, and that's 2009 to 2013. Yeah. I've had talks with people on how this is like my favorite era for music for me. Like, it's just insanely like all the albums they charted so high, but they were also good art.
Yeah. And I don't know it's funny because I agree with you. For me, those are just the years I was in college. So I think, oh yeah, there was great music when I was in college. But you're right. There was something distinct about that time. And I know this because I've gone back. I still teach hip hop very occasionally. And whenever I go to find current music, I have a really hard time finding tracks that I like because during that time, it was Kanye, it was Drake, Tyga was putting out a lot of awesome shit at that
Young
time.
Money in general, the whole group. You know,
All of Young Money.
I can make your bed
Nicki,
rock, girl. I love Nicki
Bedrock.
Minaj. I mean,
Nicki was just showing up at the time.
I love
The
Nicki.
Pink Friday album was just coming out, I think. One of her first couple. And it was whatever it was. And it probably was that Young Money influence on everyone.
Yeah, I made a top 5 rap group of all time. I have it on my Instagram. But I said, I'm pretty sure I said NWA. No order, by the way. But I said top 5 rap groups. I said NWA, Wu-Tang Clan, Ghetto Boys, and Young Money. And I said I would have added Outkast on the list, but I said Young Money had is the group with the most influence on the new generation. Mm-hmm. You know, because like without Drake, Kanye, and Lil Wayne, there is no Future, Lil Uzi Vert, Young Thug, and you know, who else is big? There's so many of these new guys. I love the new music, but I feel like there hasn't been as much the amount of classic albums that came out in 2009 and 2013. But like when they came out, they were just seen as just mainstream hits. But now like they're now being looked at as like good pieces of art, you know, like and they successfully mixed the old hardcore stuff from the 90s with like new pop influence. And I'm not saying Drake invented a mix of hip hop and pop. I'm not saying he invented rap and pop mixing and singing and rapping, but he popularized it and did it in such an interesting way.
He may have perfected it.
I
mean, we're talking about 2011, 2013, nothing was the same, and he'll put out what he's put out this year is still charting. So, you know, he's going to still bang for another few years at least. And I'm sure he's got another. I loved Scorpion. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, that got a lot of hate. I got a lot of hate, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Some folks, I'm like, at this point, and when Scorpion came out, this is when I finally was like, look, if you don't like Drake, then, like, fine, we disagree. But, like.
The charts disagree.
Yeah. Like everyone in America loves all these Drake songs. So if you're gonna be the critic that says that Drake is trash, then fine. To go sit in the corner by yourself. I
don't live in the country, and I don't hang out with people who are in that country lifestyle. But I know a couple people that like have like from like Kentucky and Tennessville, and they're these old geezers who just bop their country music, and they love Drake.
Yeah.
Because he makes I'm not saying hardcore rap is not real music. I'm saying that like Drake is good at appealing to everybody. Yep. You know, I don't have to everybody like I love Kendrick Lamar.
Yep.
But like I can relate to Drake more.
Yeah.
Let me be real. I'm not from fucking Compton. Like,
right.
You know, every time I'm in the streets, people don't say yeah. Like you know, but everybody's had a Marvin's Room moment. Let's be real with ourselves.
That is true.
You know, they always say they you know what they say. This is not really true, but like nobody says this, but don't drink and drive. You'll end up at your ex's house. Did you hear that? Yo.
There you are. I got you now. I lost you for a second when you talked about Marvin's Room, but I got you now.
Mic check.
Yep.
I said, somebody said, don't drink and drive, you'll end up at your ex's house. And, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah. Any other 2009 to 2013 hits you'd like to talk about?
God, I'm trying to... I'd get too far down a rabbit hole. You gotta cut me off there. But it was... I mean, I had, from that time, what I was doing choreography to, it was Drake, it was Tyga, it was Kanye. Like, that. And
Rack City.
I did
Rack
like a
City
dozen.
Beach.
I had Rack City in one of my dances. Like, it was. I did probably a dozen different pieces, and they all had at least one of those artists in them. Like that was the entirety of my taste at that time. Still is.
So you're like really big on dance choreography and like, you know, like just fucking. I don't know what any of it is, but like it sounds. I mean, if I were to do dance, I wouldn't want to dance to the Beethoven stuff. I'd want to dance to Drake.
Mm-hmm.
So if I, that sounds crazy. That sounds cool. That sounds
It's fun.
cool.
Oh, so fun.
So we kind of I feel you're a gamer. I gotta ask this. What's your top 3 Call of Duty games?
Ooh. Okay. So with Call of Duty, I'm gonna be old school because the peak of my Call of Duty playing happened a long time ago. I'm very bad at it now, and I haven't played the last few that have come out. I tried Warzone and I'm terrible, but Modern Warfare 2 for the Xbox 360. That was my favorite game of all time at that time. That great story. I haven't gotten the remaster yet, but I want to. I want to play back through that.
It's only the campaign for some reason. It's like only the campaign remastered. But I mean, I know the campaign's good, but I'm a multiplayer.
It's an incredible.
The airport.
Yeah, that was the first. People like now that wouldn't get as.
That would not be. That would not pass.
But at the time, that was a huge deal. The airport scene. So that one, way back even before that, the first game I ever played on 360 was Call of Duty Big Red 1. And so that one, that would have been one of my favorites. That I'm not sure if it was set. I think it was set in World War II, and that was pretty intense. And then since then, what have I liked since Modern Warfare 2? Maybe Black Ops. One of the Black Ops. They all are the same game to me because I've only played the multiplayer. But one of the Black Ops, maybe 1 or 2, would have been another one that I really.
I got
enjoyed.
2.
But yeah.
My favorite Black Ops is Black Ops 3. I hate the campaign on it. It's horrible, and I don't really play zombies like that. But like the multiplayer on Black Ops 3 is just like it's so like.
Do you have the mech? That's the mech suits, and you can do boosts.
Yeah, the exo jump.
That one, yeah, that one. I like that game.
You like it?
I'm terrible at it because it moves too fast. Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's this piece. I can't keep up, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's just like, there's 3 games I've been addicted to in my life, and that's Black Ops 3, and that's Fortnite. I've ended that addiction. Nobody plays that shit no more. And then now I'm starting to get addicted to Fall Guys.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Fall Guys is oof. Fall Guys is candy. It's just game candy.
Because there's so many different like what I like. It's like coconut. With Fortnite it was like coconut. It's too consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much of the same fucking. You land on the farm, and then the guy lands there before you, and then he just points up at you as you're falling through the sky. It's just like. But with Fall Guys, there's many different levels. But I mean, let's see where the shit's at in 6 months, honestly.
I hope it. I feel like I'm optimistic. I feel like it's gonna last, and they'll continue to innovate. I saw the new medieval pack that they're coming out with for season 2, and I think that's promising. I think they have to continue to change it a lot.
Yeah.
It won't last for 6 months at a time without updates, I don't think. But if they do that, then they have a hit on their hands, because I think it's the Battle Royale, what everyone loves about the Battle Royale. You're going to win maybe 1 in every 10 games, but it's going to be that much more of an excitement when you do win. But then making that more accessible to more people, because the FPS style of Fortnite, I can't play Fortnite. I'm incapable of it. The building along with the shooting, I just can't do it. I'm terrible. And so getting the Battle Royale, what's great about it, but getting it accessible and into more people's hands, and then also removing the combat element so everyone can play it who doesn't like shooting. It's a perfect formula. Like, if they continue to innovate, it'll be a hit forever. They'll make billions off of it.
And I say, hell yeah, fucking
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So, I'm not going to ask you your favorite movie. That's a fucking bullshit question that I hate. What's your favorite movie? And every time I hear an interview or I see that, or somebody asks me, anytime I hear, what's your favorite movie, it makes me want to commit mass murder. But what I will ask you is, which couple of films do you find yourself rewatching every year?
Ooh. For me, this is an easy one. I'm a big rewatcher. Seth doesn't rewatch.
Same. I rewatch.
So,
I love rewatching.
My number one movie that I've seen the most times is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and I maintain it is a perfect film. Like I think film classes should study it if they're not already. And that's typically my answer. If someone says, "What's your favorite movie?" I agree with you. I think it's a crap question, and I don't literally have one. There's too many different, because one of my other favorite movies is Pulp Fiction. How the hell am I going to say which I like better if it's Pulp Fiction or Scott Pilgrim versus the World? They're just too different.
They're completely like.
Yeah.
They're just compare. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
two different lanes.
You know, yeah, but in terms of what I watched the most, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Actually, my girlfriend, that's how we met, was because we both love Scott Pilgrim, and we noticed each other talking about it, and we've been dating for a year. So Scott Pilgrim would be my top one. I rewatched The Dark Knight a lot. That's Dark Knight is just another one of those movies that's like, every time I watch it, I'm like, okay, how can I figure out why The Dark Knight isn't perfect during this watch? And I never find it. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I watch Pulp Fiction at least once a year. Weirdly enough, the movie 500 Days of Summer is one that I watch a lot. If you haven't seen
I've heard of that.
It's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel, and it's kind of a rom-com.
Yeah. Doesn't he, like, he works at the job, and then something works at a job, and then he gets, like, falls in love, and then by that something, I get what happened. I think I've seen, like, I was watching this this video essay on it for some reason or some shit. I don't know, because I be watching a lot of video essays, and it was, like, making a point of, like, story structure and how this movie has to relate to it. But I didn't really watch the movie, so maybe I have it ruined, but I don't really remember it. But yeah, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's been in some great movies.
I like him in that, and that one's an interesting one. I'll tell you, the reason I watch it a lot is because it's a great breakup movie, and I've had a lot of breakups. So
I'm gonna have to watch that then.
Yeah, that's why I've seen it a lot of times. And then my other breakup movie that I've seen a lot of times is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with Jim Carrey. That's another favorite of mine.
Oh my god.
So there's a lot of movies I watch on a regular kind of rotation, but those are probably the ones that are the most common. Those five or so.
Yeah. When I like have an emotional turmoil related to a relationship, I go to Royal Tenenbaums with.
Oh yeah.
It's not like a breakup movie, but it has the themes of the love of two people not being able to happen. It's like what Wes Anderson always has in his movies is the theme of forbidden love. You know, with Rushmore right there, you have kid tries to date his teacher. It's not gonna work out. Yep. You know what I mean? It's not gonna work out. And then Royal Tenenbaums, he tries to date and falls in love with his adopted sister. Keyword adopted, so it's not weird to watch it. You know, have you actually seen the biological what do they call it, the biological defects of having birth in relation to incest? Have you looked into it? Like, there's like
not closely, but I'm aware of it. Like, there's some like really common, I think like a cleft lip is common in those cases, and a couple other things.
Yeah.
So I'm very vaguely aware that it manifests in ways, but I haven't done the research.
Like, it's like literally biologically incorrect, and I'm not saying like it's like, well, I'm not like saying this in like some like, what do I do it, like the genes that fight off diseases, you get like less, you get like I don't know, it's just complicated, but basically it affects your like immune system. I don't fucking know. It's just somebody we know nothing what we're talking about. Listeners or watchers, look this shit up for yourself. It's an interesting rabbit hole to go down, but I don't have the document in my hand right now to talk about it. But I've already do a couple movies that I rewatch on occasion. I do a City of God, the Brazilian film. That's like one of my favorites.
You, Mike, that is one, and I know I have not seen it. I need it. It's been in my list for years, and I know I need to just do it, and I haven't yet.
I know I don't like saying best of things, but you know, it's my favorite crime film.
I've
favorite
only heard
gangsta movie.
Yeah, and that's no one has ever said like City of God's pretty good. It's always like, no, it's incredible. You have to watch. So it's been on my list for a while.
It's more of like the way it's edited, like it it's almost like a documentary. It's not like a mockumentary, but the way everything's shot, it's like it's very like there's a lot of zooming into places, and there's a lot of like quick cut edited things where it's not like shaky cam, but it's like coherent, and the narration is awesome, and the way like let me give you an instance. They tell a story about, I don't know, I don't want to spoil this shit. Fuck out of here. Let's go into another movie that I'm talking about. But no, if you actually watch that, I would love to do just an exclusive podcast talking about that. Maybe just an episode just talking about the whole fucking movie, like spoiler complete. I don't know when you're busy again, but like, anyways, next movie I rewatch all the time.
Because I need an excuse, because that is one I gotta watch. I'm not fighting it off. I know I need to watch it.
I could talk for 5 hours about that shit. But Casino, that's another movie I've rewatched. Great. It's like one of those long movies that are really good. Because I'm a big guy who just doesn't. I'm one of those guys that like I don't like people that say that movies that are long are good because they're long.
Right.
Like they have to be paced properly. Like I love The Irishman, but I don't think it justifies length.
You know that I in protest I did not watch the Irishman, and not really in protest, not for anything meaningful. I just didn't watch it because it was 3 hours long, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch this just because it's nominated. I don't have 3 hours, so I didn't watch it.
If it was a Netflix
Casino,
show,
so I was like, yeah.
If Irishman was a Netflix show, like it's a movie that should have been separated into like episodes on Netflix, because it's not like a fast-paced story. It's a lot of old guys talking, which is cool, but like. Fuck out of here. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care. Like, it's cool, but like,
for 3 hours,
Casino's cooler.
You gotta have some stuff going on.
Casino is another one of those movies. You know?
God, yeah.
Nah, but like,
and Casino it's in like parts almost. Like,
yeah, like it's like it shows an era. It shows an era of when the casinos in Vegas became less controlled by independent owners and businessmen and more controlled by large corporations that, you know, could be owned, like that would be like it Vegas became Disneyland when after the mob left, because when a lot of independent business owners and there's no monopoly involved, then there's less regulations on how the money is put through the city and shuffled around, you know. It just shows like a complete era, kind of like how Boogie Nights does. Boogie Nights, and that's another movie I rewatched. Boogie Nights shows an era of when there was less the industry was there was less regulations in the industry. There was less STD checks in the industry. There was it was shown in movie theaters. Obviously, it shows an era that happened where you know, there was fucking. It was shown in movie theaters, and then they start changing, and the quality shittier when they start to move into VHS tapes and all this shit. You know what I mean? That was a funny segment of the movie where it's like, it looks like shit and it sounds like shit, so it must be shit. Oh, that's a fantastic movie. Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson's one of the GOATs.
Oh my god, I love PTA.
We're just talking about The Master.
For my money, The Master is number one. Love The Master.
The Master. As Austin Powers said, I am the master debater.
Yeah.
I gotta love, oh my god, Austin Powers. I gotta say Goldmember is my favorite.
I tend to agree. Yeah.
It's the most goofiest and takes itself the least seriously.
It seems like it's the true form of Austin Powers. It seems like they were figuring it out in the first two, and then by 3 they had it. Which is why I was bummed they didn't get a fourth one. Oh
man, the fucking the intro with Tom Cruise and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Austin Pussy. And then the best part was in the intro. If you want to go into the movie in a minute, the intro and Danny DeVito is Mini-Me. He's like,
yes.
He pulls out the cigar and he's like, assholes.
A Mini-Me, and he's got the gun. Yeah, he's great. Oh man.
And then Kevin.
That whole thing.
And then
Spacey shows up as Dr. Evil. I think that's the one thing that out of that whole movie, that's the one thing now that we're gonna be like, oh man.
Straight face emoji.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just say my best part about the movie was the dynamic between let's have to say Fat Bastard was really good, and then Michael Caine was actually a really good. His relationship with his father, like it was so cool. Like, you know, the fucking his father and how like he never showed up to anything, and then they all kind of make up at the end and shit. And Gold Members is, spoilers for a movie that came out in fucking 1999.
Yeah, no kidding.
Get the fuck out. Everybody's like, how could you spoil it? It came out in 1995. Get into it. Goddamn. It's like anybody talking about like The Dark Knight. The world expects you to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We assume you've seen The Dark Knight.
Yeah. But yeah, what's your favorite moment of Gold Member, man?
Gold Member. Ooh. I really like Foxy Cleopatra in it, but when I watched her the most recent time I watched it, I remember that Beyonce's a terrible actress. But I do love that character. I love her whole 70s thing and how it or 60s maybe, and how it translates.
Gold Member.
In the third one, I think Seth Green.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when
his horrible laugh.
To get pissed. Yeah, and he can't do the laugh right, and he like. He runs out of the room in that girly way, and that when they give him shit for it. Everything Scott in that. That's probably my highlight. Everything in that movie is hilarious. So I love Gold Member, and it holds up well. But I'd say that'd probably be my favorite.
Yeah, that's a class B. So I got City of God, Casino, Boogie Nights, and Golden Members. I rewatch that every now and then, but yeah, I'll put it up there. Let me think what else. Let's look at my posters.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably behind you there.
I want to pick a Kubrick movie, and I'm not gonna pick 2001: Space Odyssey. I know everybody loves that shit, but like, there's other Kubrick movies. I'd have to say I'd have a tie for my favorite Kubrick movies, either Full Metal Jacket or Barry Lyndon.
See, I haven't seen Barry Lyndon. Give me the quick pitch on why I should watch Barry Lyndon.
It's if Martin Scorsese. It's like the Martin Scorsese movie Stanley Kubrick directed.
Okay, that gets me there because I love Scorsese. So
you know how all Martin Scorsese movies are about how people become rich and wealthy and then they're fucking dicks to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Barry Lyndon is, except it has to do with the guy in the 1700s and how he leaves Ireland for the army and then ends up getting himself out of the army and then joining a Prussian army and then marrying a rich woman and gambling and getting involved with crimes and shootouts and all this crazy shit. And it's so fun. It's not fun, but like it's like in every shot of the movie looks like an old painting.
Oh, I love that.
It looks like a lot of the shots from the movie, it starts out with like a zoom in of like a character's sad, morbid face, and it zooms out and there's like this beautiful skyline of clouds and birds flying as the sun is shining in on the character's face, and these beautiful flowers and these castles of fucking Britain, and everything just looks like this beautiful like painting from then, and it's a pleasure to watch. And Full Metal Jacket is a movie that I also like because fucking Gunnery Sergeant Hartman.
He's perfect.
Oh my god. and how he didn't even get cast in the movie, and he was just a technical advisor.
Yeah.
So he just started cursing out everybody in front of and it's a motivating story of how he became, involved with the movie. But I'm one of those guys that loves the second half. A lot of people are just like, oh, it's good up until 45 minutes in when Gunnery Sergeant Hartman dies. It's a bad movie. I love the scenes in Vietnam and the interviews they do with the people. You remember that part?
I don't. Honestly, I'm like most people. The stuff I remember is the drill sergeant stuff. So it's But and it's been so long since I've sat and watched. I don't think I've watched it in 10 plus years.
I feel like it's the epic. I feel like it's just like the quintessential like war movie. Similar like I would just say like Apocalypse Now is like, I still don't know if I like Apocalypse Now better or not. Like I still haven't decided. They're still kind of just on the same level where I don't know. It's like Yeezus and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yep. One edges out the other.
Yeah. But
I do love that Vietnam that style though. There's a distinct style when you're doing a Vietnam movie, which is what I liked Spike Lee in the Five Bloods.
I love
he
that
kind
one.
of brought that back, and in a movie that's set in today, it still had that Vietnam style, and I love the look and the feel of
The filtering, you know.
Five Bloods, and then the whole thing in general.
It's also what about that is I described in my review. I talked about how it was about how when a nation goes to war and hates each other for such like a long period of time, even when we're not officially at war with them, that war never dies. There's still that hatred. There's still that disgust at seeing the nationality of that person that you went to war with. There's still that hatred, and the war is still really there, you know. And you know, when the locals get mad that they're finding the gold, it's just kind of like shit, you know. And Spike Lee always brings something good.
Oh, Spike is, and he's
you know, a lot of people are like,
Hey, why you so political?
shut the fuck up. Shit's right and wrong. You know what I mean? Shit's right and wrong. And when you believe what is right and what is wrong, good for you.
Well, and if people didn't want to see politically charged movies, they'd stop going, and Spike Lee wouldn't have a career. But
we want to see
making
it.
Money.
But we want to see it. Yeah, hell yeah. Exactly. Like yeah, for sure. So you talk sports in your podcast, obviously.
Oh yeah, love sports.
What's your teams, man? Just go start with professional, then go to colleges and.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say I have one team. I like lots of teams across lots of sports, but the one undeniable, always will be a fan of, the LA Rams. I think I was 8. I was 8 years old, and I was still living in Iowa, and the Rams were still in St. Louis.
That's close. That's close.
Yeah, they made their Super Bowl run with a quarterback who was from the town I used to live in.
What's his name? What's it? I know what you're talking about. It was like around 2000 something.
So yeah, it was 2000, 2001. You're gonna go, oh, as soon as I say it, Kurt Warner.
Yeah, I know it was Kurt. I was about to say Kurt Cobain, and I was like, shut the fuck. I was like, what?
No, wrong guy.
that's Nirvana or whatever. I said
so
it.
Warner, that whole thing showed up at a perfect. I was just learning football as a kid.
Did you play?
And I played in high school. I was mediocre. I was really undersized. That was my problem. And so when I was learning what football is, what the NFL is, here's the Rams, the local team. My dad's also a fan of them, and they have a local guy on the team. So it was automatic. Then they won the Super Bowl, and since then it's you know, I go to a game every year. And actually, I'm hoping, I've been working for a while on this. I'm hoping next year I'll be a season ticket holder, but been working toward that for a while, but we'll see. And with the new stadium, it'll be really dope.
You drive down every week?
It's a quick flight, and it's a nonstop. So that's the thing, is it's expensive for me to get down there 6 to 8 times a year, from Bend to LA. So I've been saving for a while to try to get that done. And I'm thinking next season might be the year. But who knows? I mean, we'll see if they ever do get fans back in the stadiums. But I follow all the LA teams just by virtue of the fact that I'm a LA Rams fan now. But I wouldn't say I have a favorite baseball team. When the Dodgers are good, I watch them. Basketball, I follow LeBron pretty closely. I wouldn't say I'm a Lakers fan per se, but I do root for LeBron. This year I'm rooting a lot for the Jazz. I just love that team. And that's kind of my attitude in baseball and basketball. You know, I find a couple teams I like to watch and I'll watch them, but I don't have merch for teams besides the Rams. And then my alma mater, Iowa State. They usually are competitive in basketball and football. They're not typically at the top, but one of those kind of B tier teams that just every game is a good game. You know,
yeah,
they'll win a couple more than they lose and make a bowl game, or they'll make the tournament in most years for basketball. So I would say that's really what I follow. I watch a little bit of hockey, a little bit of baseball, but NBA, I'm watching a lot of the bubble. I think it's going awesome. I'm nervous about football. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this off. What they're saying. I don't know.
Yeah, with Yeah, with hockey, I don't really watch hockey like that, but I like hockey movies.
Hockey movies are great.
Goon.
Awesome.
Goon.
Goon is so good. I love
That's my
Goon.
favorite hockey movie. And I've seen like all the good ones,
Yeah.
Miracle or whatever. But fucking Goon, oh my god. Jay Baruchel wrote that.
I didn't know
comedian. Yeah, he was just like one of those like kids, one of those hockey scumbag kids who just loved hockey from Boston. So then he just wrote that, and it's one of the funniest and well done, And he obviously he plays his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, that movie has such personality. All right, that's another one I constantly rewatch. Oh, another one I rewatch is Joe Dirt.
You know what? Joe Dirt's one of the I own very few movies, but Joe Dirt is one of them. And I watched it earlier this year.
Look at that poster right there.
Yes, iconic. That's iconic. People will deny it, but that Joe Dirt poster is an icon. That was a huge deal.
Yeah. What does he say? Snakes and sparklers.
Yeah.
You got any Husker do's, Husker don'ts? Laugh cigar and dig it, make it work for. Oh shit, this is ass. Camera angle. Laugh cigar and dig it, make it work for you. That's like on all my Instagram, Twitter bios. It's all fucking one of the greatest quotes.
Who would have thought a line spoken by David Spade in a frankly terrible comedy, certainly critically terrible, even though I love it, would be an actually deep, meaningful quote. To carry around.
Yeah. Dude, he had like one of those like shitty late night shows this year, but it got canceled because COVID and shit. Like, but
yeah, I didn't know they were canceled. Yeah,
it was well, obviously Fallon's not gonna get canceled, but his is gonna get canceled. But he has like he's been posting to his YouTube channel just like videos of him reading stand-up comedy bits that he never got to complete because of COVID, and he's just like reading on a piece of paper some like a shitty comedy bit, and he makes a couple points every now and then about like what's going on, and there's no audience like interaction, because obviously with good stand-up or good comedians you got to have that cool interaction. And I was watching Andrew Schultz, and he's like making fun of a guy in the crowd with like short shorts or something like that. Just there's always that fun.
He's cold, man. Oh wow.
Oh my god. His videos where he's like explaining something about the news or some shit. And he has 2 podcasts that are really good. He has one with Charlemagne the God. And he also has one with I don't know. But Andrew Schultz. Yeah. What you do stand up comedy. I mean, you kind of want to, I don't know how it's going for you now, but like, when's the last time you performed? And yeah, have you been writing any? Yeah, start with when's the last time you performed?
So it'll be I finally have scheduled my next show. My next show is September 12th in Salem, Oregon. And that is going to be the end of a 6-month break.
That's a win.
It had been, my last show was in Austin, Texas in March. It was like March 15th or 16th, somewhere around that time. Right before, it was like the last weekend before everything shut down. And that was my last show, and I haven't been back. I haven't done an open mic, because you can do all sorts of Zoom open mics and things like that, and I just haven't. I really need the people. It's not so much about telling the joke for me. It's about the interaction and hearing the laughs and the conversations afterwards and all those things. So I'm waiting until I can be in front of a crowd, and an opportunity came up. So I am gonna have my first show in a while, which I'm nervous for because it's been a long time, and I have been writing some new stuff.
First time in a long time.
Yeah, there's been so much going on in the world that it's hard not to, if you're a writer and you're in the mode of, something in the news, let me write a joke about it. That's been kind of going on, and because of everything that's gone on, I have a ton of new material that I need to get back into the lab with. But for this next show, I'll be doing some older stuff that I know is reliable. But once we get things ramped back up, I got a lot of new stuff that I'm ready to get in front of people. I'm really excited for.
You should definitely I don't know how it works, but man, I don't know. You should maybe video it or something. But I'd love one day I'll go to one of your shows, man. I'm serious. I will go to to one of your shows.
It'd be awesome to see you at one.
Yeah, man.
I love anytime. It's rare, but if I do ever get a chance where there's going to be a show that's streamed, I will absolutely blast that all over the place because it's a lot of fun. Most of my family and friends are in Iowa, so a lot of people who are really good friends of mine haven't seen me perform. So, you'll know when I get a chance to stream one.
Yeah, man. It's just like, you know, when March happened, you know, it felt like a year. March was a year, for sure. March and April wasn't that bad. It was still kind of shitty.
April was boom gone. That was the thing. Crazy thing.
March just felt like eternity, and it's the beginning of March happened for me, which was great for me. The beginning of March before the 15th or whatever fuck, you know that time space. You know, at school I started a film club. I was starting a film. I was gonna start prepping a short film to direct, and you know I was getting with this girl. And it was all this crazy fun shit happened for me, and then motherfucker.
Stop on all of it.
You know, and I was gonna do a short film. I was gonna direct it. I've tried to write and direct short screenplays and shit. And then you know, it's just you realize like, you know, I feel like it just made me feelize. I realized how like temporary everything was.
Yep.
With everything.
Yep.
It's just, and then I realized, you know, if I'm gonna write anything, if I'm gonna do any YouTube video, I'm gonna make it worth my time. And ever since COVID happened, I just become more organized. How has it affected you or the podcast or anything business related at all for you?
You know, I think the biggest thing for me is that it kind of forced me. We talked about this earlier, you know, I'm doing a lot of things and it's kind of always go to the next thing. And this kind of forced me to put a hard stop on everything and take an inventory of like, okay, what are the things I do that are important to me and that I need to keep doing? And so I was able to get a lot of the clutter out of my day and out of the time I spend and you know, certain things and certain certain relationships I was putting a lot of effort into. And then after quarantine, I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's someone I can see less of, or maybe that's a skill I can spend less time focusing on, or maybe we don't need to do this related to the podcast. For me, it was a chance to really just strip everything down to just the important parts, and it's freed me up in a way that's been really nice. So like that sense of prioritizing, and now I haven't been doing as much comedy, so it's freed me up to do other things. And now I've got a chance. I'm gonna act in a play this fall.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. Holy shit, let's go!
I'm so
excited.
God,
yo!
And it's something I would never have if I hadn't had to stop doing comedy. I would never have had the chance to do the play. So it's, you know, you get a chance to kind of take inventory and move things around and do some things that weren't previously fitting into the schedule. That's been the biggest thing for me, and it's been awesome. You know, there's real problems with quarantine, and I don't mean to pretend those aren't there, but for me personally, it's, you know, forced me to take inventory in a way that's really helped me out.
Acting must be I take acting classes like weekly at this one place in like, you know, a city or you know, near me, but I haven't actually gotten the chance to like, you know, fucking act in something, you know, and get casted and do the audition thing because there's so little around me. It's like I'm living in fucking Idaho with no Napoleon Dynamite. You know what I'm saying? No, that's literally where I'm. You know, that's why I do all the. How is it? What's the process like? How'd you get that audition? What show is it? I want to hear all about it, man. Fuck, man,
so
that sounds cool.
It was really fortunate. I was really lucky the way that it came together. So this is a play. The play's called Evanescent, and it is. It's written and directed by a friend of mine whose name is Stephanie, and she lives here in Bend. And so she has been working on getting this play produced for a long time, and has gotten a lot of love for the screenplay, but just been trying to find a home for it. And then she, very similar, like I was talking about with myself, she was in a production that got shelved over the summer because because of COVID. And so that was her opportunity to pick up that project and say, you know, let's get this produced, because the way that the play is about a kid named Evan. He's 12, and he has just witnessed his father's murder. And so the play is kind of a thriller, almost a noir type thriller where Evan is sort of mentally processing what happened. And he's got some memories that are coming up. And so throughout the course of the play, you, the audience member, alongside Evan, are figuring out what happened. And so because of the way that the play is structured and blocked and designed, we can do it by acting with social distance between all the characters, and we can wear masks. Stephanie has kind of set the play in the right now. And so I spend a lot of the play in a mask, and that's something that is different, and it's a challenge. And especially for my first show is a little bit strange. I feel like I'm learning the ropes of theater in a very unique circumstance. But if not for that unique circumstance, I would never have been able to do it anyway. So it's kind of fun to get to do in that respect. I auditioned. Steph actually reached out to me and said, hey, I think you might work for this, and asked me to audition. So I did a tape, which was tough for me because if I'm taping something and I get a chance to work on it, I'm really particular. I'm really a perfectionist about those things. So I spent a good couple days working on a 1 minute long audition tape and sent that in. Steph liked me for this part. I'm playing the part of a therapist by the name of Dr. Gray, who's working with. Yeah, I get to work with Evan.
That's
and through our conversations, we kind of spark things. And then I also act as a sort of narrator for the audience. So I'm relaying my findings as the therapist to the audience, and that sort of keeps the audience informed throughout the play. So we just started rehearsals. We're a couple weeks in, and I'm loving it so far. We got a great cast. Staff has been amazing. I love so before I did any of this, I took an acting class a couple of years ago. That's how I knew I wanted to do this. And the work of an actor and a director working out a scene, hey, why don't you take it this way? Give me that, and then you run it. Or, hey, maybe think about this while you're reading this scene. Maybe this character is going through this, and then you get to run it again. That work is the most fun I've had doing almost anything. It's one of my favorite out of the comedy, out of the podcast, that interacting, that acting and director working together on something, it's the most fun that I've had. It's a blast. I love doing it. And we're getting to play around with some fun things for this. And that actually is going to be streamed out. So if it's something that folks want to see, I'll have availability, some links and things so people can see me.
That's a good pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And also, anybody in the entertainment industry that would ever cast anyone, who would not want to have Cody Michael's voice that is a blessing to the earth, this soothing, angelic entity that exists that I am currently interviewing right now.
I'll have to I gotta have you write my pitch so I can submit to some agents or something.
Oh my God, you need
that is my shtick, because I'm not gonna be playing any big there's a dad in this play.
You could you could
I was gonna say there's a dad in this play who's very paternal and very big and kind of strong, and that's not for me. That's not my role at all. Get someone deeper, get someone bigger with more gravitas for that. But yeah,
you're like
therapist was perfect for me.
You know what you are? You are you could be like a what do they call them? You could be like a meditation teacher, like a yoga. Yeah. You'd be like you sound like a yoga teacher.
Yeah, I could totally do a yoga teacher. Yeah, if any casting directors are watching, I'd love to play a yoga director.
Yeah, lean forward and do the cobra pose.
Yeah.
that fucking relaxing. That's hilarious. That. Yeah. You could be like yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Yes. Acting's so much fun. It's just figuring shit out and seeing if it works is just I haven't had I haven't had the chance to be a part of a huge production. But even when I'm prepping a little scene, I've done showcases with my class and people show up and watch something that we prep. And I love improv games, which are fun to do. Like ABCs is fun too, where you just like you're given a scenario, but like you have to go with like a letter in the ABCs or some shit like that, and it's just like, you know, it's like, yeah, it's fun to figure this shit out on the fly. But like I love it. I just one day I'll be in some big fucking production, but for now I've been just noticing that there's like nothing around me where I live to fucking audition for because I live so remote. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that, I don't know how it is, but I'm pretty sure that in Oregon there must be more stand-up comedy and acting opportunities than there would be in Iowa. Is that true?
Yes, kind of. Actually, the city that I moved from in Iowa is at Cedar Rapids. It's the second biggest city in Iowa. So there's a lot of that culture there. That's where I actually did my first few open mics, was there. So there's a little bit of a comedy scene and there's an acting scene there. It's small. And then the town I live in Oregon, Bend, is one of the few bigger, more cultural cities of Oregon. So generally speaking, there's a lot of Oregon that's very rural and doesn't have opportunities like that. So I'm lucky to be in a city where there is a little bit. It's not as much as I might hope. It's a little bit of a challenge finding diverse roles here in Bend is a challenge, because we're like a 95% white population. So a lot of
that's a joke I heard about Oregon or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's very heavily white. So that would be that's the challenge that I have is there are plays happening, but how many of them are going to have a role for me, or how many of them are going to have a director that's willing to cast outside of race for a part. And so it's something that I've been lucky with the communities I've lived in, that there's the availability to be a part of things like that.
Yeah, man. But I mean, with writing though, like, when you're writing a joke, like, when you write something, like, is it mainly a reaction to something you hear about in the news, or like, is it like day-to-day shit? Like, you know, like, let's hear about that process, man.
Yeah. So for me, so when people ask me about my writing process, it's two steps. One is, the first thing you need to do is realize that everything that happens at all in our society is ridiculous and hilarious. Like that understanding, the idea that nothing is like obvious and normal, right? Normal as anything to be. That's where I start always from. So if I can find something, and you'll see like the observational comedy, you'll see this a lot in like Seinfeld, is like the idea that we go to a grocery store, and that's a big building where all of the food is, that we go there. It's something that we all understand as a normal thing. But if I can address it from the lens of, look how weird this is, and none of you notice this, but look how weird this is.
Yeah.
A lot of my comedy comes from there. And it's realize that everything is weird. And then 2, just write things down. So like,
keep that fucking pen moving. Keep it moving. Or keep on the keyboard.
Yeah. Every day it's something. You got to have a book, whether it's a notebook. For me, it's in my cell phone.
Same.
Something that weird happens, and you just write it down, and then I'll go later and I'll say, okay, what did I write down today? Yeah. Well, a woman cut me off when I was driving. Could I make a joke about that? Sure. I saw a guy trying to buy artichokes. He didn't know how to buy the artichoke at the grocery store. Maybe that's a joke. And then the third thing, I had a conversation with my mom today about politics. That was pretty funny. And then so I just grabbed that one, and I'll, why is this funny? And I'll write it. And I write a lot of stories.
Yeah.
So if I
you
can
write
just
stories?
tell you, yeah.
Let's go.
If I can tell you, if I can get across to someone, here's this thing that I just realized is insane, and then describe it to you the way that I realized it, and then have you realize the same thing. That's my goal. That's my process. Yep.
Yeah, it's like with I mean, I try and write some short films, but like, what you want to make, what I've always noticed about writing is not everybody gets your fucking shit. Not everybody gets everything that you're talking about, and you gotta make it. You gotta stay true to what you want to make the point of, but you also got to make it viewable for the other person. And that, you know, everybody wants to write some bullshit and say, if they don't like it, they don't get my vision.
Right.
They don't get my fucking vision. I'm the best. That's what everybody thinks. That's what everybody thinks when they're writing stuff. And I feel that way sometimes too. You know, sometimes I'm that motherfucker and that thinks I'm as good as Kubrick when I haven't even put out a fucking short film yet. You know what I mean? It's just like everybody thinks that way. But it's just like, it's all about organizing the thoughts, and I don't know. It's just, you know, if it hits, it hits. If it misses, it misses, and you try again with some shit else. You know what I mean? It's just like with songs. You know, I write a lot of songs. I write a lot of movies. I write a lot of comedy skits for, like, you know, like I don't know, like I'll just be thinking about something completely absurd, and I love like shit like the Eric Andre show. Like I had an idea of what if I went up to what if I got my friend and he got the camera, and what if he followed me with the camera as I went up to random houses and asked if I could shovel their snow, and it's like the middle of summer or something like that. Just something that's completely stupid, and then they're like, and I'm just pointing at the camera like, you can't obviously see the fucking snow right here, and there's no snow. Like, I don't know, just something completely stupid, or I don't know, you know, or just be like, or go up to random people in the middle of like a park, and I don't know, show them a picture of, like, you know, a naked person, say like, rate my friend 1 out of 10 or something, and show them like the tiniest dick ever made or something, you know, just something stupid like that, and then you think, and then you get hype about that. You get hype when you write that, when you write something that you think is funny.
Yep.
And then 10 minutes later, if it still doesn't sound funny, then scrap it. That's what I think, or something like a story, you know, because I try and write something funny in a story because nobody wants to see something depressing. I mean, there is good depressing shit, you know. Taxi Driver, what up, depressing movie?
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, that shit's depressing. I'm gonna be honest. Taxi Driver is depressing, but you know, I don't know. But will you write stories for like movies or screenplays or just books or some shit, or for more so stories for stand up?
Do I have written ideas for things like screenplays. I don't think I'm a writer. That was a realization I came to, because there was a time when I thought, you know, am I going to be could I write a screenplay, you know, and I set out to you know, think about what it would take to do that, and it for me ended up being something where I was like, I like this idea that I have, but I'm not the guy to write the entire script for it. So that was interesting for me. I do write a little bit of music, very, very, very little music, that'll never see the light of day. But
when's that album coming out?
Yeah,
let's get a Cody Michael album.
It's like that thing you're talking about, where if you're in a creative mode and you are multidisciplined, then you find things. You can just open an entire creative bag of tricks, and you can say like, oh, it'd be funny if the idea is a guy wants to shovel but there's no snow, right? You can go, okay, is that a stand-up joke? Is that a sketch for our podcast? Is that a YouTube video?
I think it's, yeah, exactly.
What form does that take? And then go at it. And I think that's what's really fun about having multiple disciplines and just being open to anything, is that you can take any stupid little thing that happens to you and it can become, you know, some little piece of art that you made. I think that's one of the best things. And that's what I talk about, that getting your brain to the point where you can start noticing what's weird about the world or what's funny, is like 90% of the work to me.
Yeah.
Once you get there, it's just about writing it down.
Yeah.
So am I a screenwriter? No, I don't think so. But I love the process of taking an idea and putting it onto paper and then figuring out how it works, how you can tell that story in the best way.
You're more of a presence.
I like to think so.
You're more of a stage. You're more of like a stage presence. You're more of a fucking perform. You know, you're more of a. I'm not. And this sounds bad, but like you're more of a, hey, look over here. This shit's cool kind of guy. That's the vibe you put out.
Yep.
You know, on stage and podcasts. You know, on YouTube videos. You know, And you do have a history of doing YouTube videos for J-Buck's channel with things such as here it is. Hold on. I have it right here. You're gonna think, how you know this? The ride home.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that. You did that on J-Bucks.
That.
Yeah, that sounds
so
cool.
fun.
Just reviewing, discussing movies with Seth on your ride home from the movie. That shit sounds.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, that sounds cool, man.
It was a blast. I mean, we just took those conversations. We were already having them, so it was just a matter of putting a camera on it, sticking it on YouTube, and it ended up becoming everything we're doing now. Kind of started from that. So
Yeah.
the ride home was really fun. It was a bummer when we had to stop. The only reason we stopped doing it is because I moved. Seth and I don't live together anymore, so we don't have the ride home.
When was that?
That would have been in the end of 2018. So it's been a couple years now since we've done one of those. I do hope we'll do, I don't know when, and there aren't plans for this. I'm not teasing anything, but hopefully someday we'll get to do another one of those, even if it's just a one-off.
Be like
those
a
are super, super fun to do.
It'll be like a band reuniting tour. Like what do they call that? A reunion tour.
A reunion tour. Yeah.
I mean, you still obviously do the podcast together. You still obviously fucking zooming in or whatever, doing the. I don't know how you do it remotely. How do you do it with Seth remotely for the SoCo show? Do you just like? What do you do?
It's a whole process. We end up doing we do something similar to this, but we just don't do video. And we actually each record ourselves, and then as part of the edit, I have to take, because I edit the show. I take Seth's audio and mine, and then I marry them up. And we get them timed out, and then I do the editing from there. But that's where it starts, and that's the difference between our show and a lot of the other ones you'll see, especially now that folks are doing remote, is we try to have our hope is that people don't realize we're remote.
Yeah.
And I think the way we achieve that is we independently record our own audio, and then we combine them later.
Check your DM, and I send a picture of what this looks like.
Say again?
I said check your DM, and I send you a picture of what this looks like.
Oh yeah.
And it's a cool setup. I want to see what you think of it, man. It's just like it's being screen recorded, and yeah, it's just I do get that. I don't know. I never knew before you just told me right now that you aren't right next to each other.
Yeah.
And it just sounds like that. Because when I saw a couple of Joey Diaz's episodes of The Church of What's Happening Now, which he's recently ended or taken a break from it because he moved back to Jersey, motherfucker, back to he moved to everywhere. All these comedians are moving out of LA, which I want to talk about earlier is I want to talk about LA or something. I'm not saying, I don't know, I'll bring it up later, but I'm saying is that when he did an episode with Duncan Trussell over Zoom, you could hear that fucking shitty audio quality and that horrible, that fucking, the echo that sounds like you're in the bottom of like a water, you're like the bottom of the water, and you're hearing it out of a can or something. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Or those Dollar Tree headphones. You know what I'm talking about? Where like you can hear when anything comes out of the headphone, you can hear the coils in there vibrating. And it, it's what it sounds like. But like you get audio quality is key. But I mean, even if you I have the privilege of having all this fucking equipment. But like, if I don't, you can have a lot of equipment, you can have a lot of shit, a lot of garbage. But like, and when you manage the, equipment does not make good content.
Right.
The brain, the fucking, you know what I mean? That shit.
Yep.
It's all about the brain.
There is such great stuff out there with that's got mediocre quality for whether it's YouTube videos or whether it's podcasts or whatever. There's a lot of stuff out there that's really great and really creative and honestly just well made, but with the exception of not having the equipment. And that was the thing. We've been really intentional about our sound quality from the start. We never wanted it to be someone going, oh, this sounds bad, we're not going to listen. And so we just wanted to remove that barrier, and it's worked. And we've gotten positive feedback about our quality a lot. And so
the audio segments in the fucking J-Buck intro, the and the buttons.
Yeah, it makes us feel like we're doing something official, and that's important for us, that we take it seriously. We're making a lot of jokes and things along the way, but like we put a lot of work into the show, and I think folks hear that and see it with the end product.
I do hear it. But like what software do you use to edit or record? Like,
Yeah. So I use honestly nothing too fancy. It's I use a program called Hindenburg Journalist Pro, and it's an audio editor. And the reason I use that one is because it allows you to record in multiple tracks. So the sounders that we use that are, kind of one of the unique things about our show, I can record those in a separate track from my own voice. So that's what Hindenburg allows me to do. And then that also allows me to bring in Seth's audio and Jared's and smush it all down into a single file. And then from that file, I actually I edit for content. I edit in Audacity, which is a free.
Hey, I use that too.
You use that too. I hear. And now, if you talk to anyone who's like a sound editor, I have some friends who are music. I have one friend who's a music producer, and he would absolutely cringe if he heard me say that I'm doing Audacity. But for me, it works, and it's what I'm used to.
It's looked at very
yeah.
It's looked at as like some freshman shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, with Audacity, it's just like, you plug in the mic, Audacity. You connect the mic to Audacity and fucking press the red button and you're good. You say that shit. But when I edit my shit, I have to use I just use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit my videos and all of that, because I know you guys don't do the video of your podcast up, but like I don't know, I had to do that. I've just been doing it for a while now, but because I didn't know what the fuck a RSS feed was when I started my podcast. Like, I just put the podcast up to YouTube, and I didn't know what RSS. I didn't even have it on Apple until my 25th episode of HASSCast. All right, so this is the 10th episode of HASSDISCUSSES.
Okay.
I started this in April. With HASSCast, I started that in November, and I've been doing YouTube in many different ways since I was 7. But anyways. So then I had to go. So I went on this one website called Libsyn, and Libsyn is like a podcast hosting shit, and they were doing like $15 a month. And I was like, yeah, I'm paying for this cool RSS feed shit that I don't know anything about. And then I start listening to Jerry Buckendall's shit, and then there's an advertisement for Anchor, and this sounds like it's a promotion, but it's really not. This shit's free. So then I stopped subscribing to Libsyn, and then I had to transfer the feed to Anchor. And Anchor is just like, fucking put the file on, write the name of the thing. It's so easy. And I can look at the stats from my phone. With Libsyn, I couldn't even look at the stats from my phone. I want to see how many viewers and stuff. I still only have like I only have like 200 total listens on it, but it's growing, and I like to think I have a solid fan base, but I don't fucking know. But
it's hard to tell, and that's our numbers are low too, and that's we've had I would say our consistent every week listeners, it's like 25 people, but we hear from them. We're friends with them, and it's a really fun fan base, and I know Jared would say the same thing about his followers, is like having a small group that is like really tight is fun, and it's good to get to interact directly with folks like that. We're gonna launch soon a real effort to try to grow the listening base, but if right now we set out to make a show that we like to make and that our friends will like, and we're doing that, and if the wider public decides they like it too, then great, but we're having fun doing what we do right now, and Anchor makes that Anchor and Audacity, like people will say like, oh, it's for freshmen, like you said, but it's easy.
It's good. It's fun.
You can get it up. You get it up there easy and quick, and now your podcast is out there. It just takes away the excuse of needing to have all the software or all the equipment.
All this bullshit. I don't have
makes it accessible.
I don't have to make a deal with like fucking some big radio station to record myself talking about something. You buy this shit from Amazon. You connect it to the computer, and you look up a couple YouTube tutorials, and you're good. I always had this quote that I don't mean to sound like a fucking Catholic preacher, but I have a quote. And I'm not saying quotes are all Catholic, but I don't know. But I'm just saying I have a quote, and I'm like, it's not about it's not about wait, what shit? Shit. Hold on. It's not about fuck. I sound retarded. It's not about how to start. It's about managing what you've already started.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about like.
That,
It's not about when am I going to start. When am I going to start? It's all about how to manage what I've already started. Because when you start something, it's gonna be shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
With anything. I hate my first YouTube videos. I cherish them,
same way.
but you gotta change what is. You gotta It's not about how to start. It's about managing what you already started.
Yep. That was the biggest thing for us. Was like we were waiting for. We're like, oh, we got to be perfect, or we're not gonna. And then eventually it was like, you know what? Eventually you just gotta kind of go. And then once you're going, you can make changes and you can fix things along the way. And our show certainly has evolved over time, and I think that's, you know, things have to change over time, and you learn new things. I've learned all sorts of tricks that make my editing easier and take less time, and you know, eventually I always tell people, like, if you're wondering when the right time is to do something, just do it and then figure it out. You know? But nothing's going to be perfect the first time, and eventually if you keep at it, you're going to really hate whatever the first edition you did of
but you'll be solidified in the group of the clique of what you're in, what you're doing. And obviously I don't know yet, but you know, J Buck is obviously solidified in the clique of movie reviewers. He's gotten frequent comments and contact from higher ups. You know, I don't think a lot of the newer the newer group of reviewers and guys that are in the community have really hit that Stuckman, Jeremy Johns level. And who's the other one? Cinemassacre and Schmo. No, not Schmo. What's the one with what's the one with Mr. Plinkett?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Red Letter Media.
Oh, okay, yeah. Red Letter.
Like, nobody's gonna, like, that's such a good level. That's such a big level. And I mean, I'm not saying like, but like, as much as Jeremy, Chris Stuckman, and those guys don't interact with their fans, I love being small. I love being small.
Oh, yeah.
I love talking I love responding to every comment and hoping that, you know, I did a tier list video of Earl Sweatshirt's albums, and some guy was like, you have much more to understand about his musical content. And I was like, thank you for watching. What else do I have to understand? Or, you know, it's just like that shit sounds corny, but like, it's fun to talk to these people that watch my shit, you know?
And then and that's the point, right? The whole point. Why are we on here talking about movies? Because we like movies. We want to talk about movies. And
because
you want to talk about Earl Sweatshirt albums with the guy. That's the whole point, right? And now you get to have that engagement. That's the beauty of
what I've always looked at it as is, while I love my opinions, they're not right. That's not the point of making them. The point of making a video or talking about something in a podcast is not because my opinion is better than yours and you better fucking agree with me. That's not my opinion. That's not the point. The point is to start conversation. You know, when you're looking at the video of somebody else talking about them, you want to be in that conversation. You want it to flow good. And when you're seeing something happen, you want to have that. You want to think about what they're saying, and if you agree or do not agree, and if you want to comment and actually reach out to the person, you know, that's cool. And I'm here for you if you're listening and watching. And you know, I love it's fun. It's all good fun. Don't take it like a fucking. It's not like being in the like. It's not like everything's so serious. It's just all good fun, you know. Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah, man.
I'm not sure. I don't know what else you've got, Mike, but I can do maybe another 10 or so. But if we want to get to wrap up, I'm gonna have to jump on you in a second here.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I got others. You know, this is weird. This is an experience. This is a good little chat. And
I'm glad we could have it. It's fun. And this is, I mean, you know, you talk about the community and things like that, and you know, how did we meet? On Jared's comment section, I think it was. And,
the live chat.
Yeah, on the live chat, and we've played games together and stuff, and we're always chatting on Jared's stuff. So it's, I mean, this is the whole point, right? We're guys, we like movies, we like hip hop. Let's chat about it. I think it's great.
For sure. thank you for watching HASSDISCUSSES episode 10 and joining this ever-growing Mike Media Incorporated empire. We had just this fantastic guest, Cody Michael. Definitely check out his podcast. I definitely link below all his links, and this podcast, Instagram, Twitter, and check out his podcast that he co-hosts with Seth Ott, and we could call Jared Bucknell a co-host.
I don't know what we're calling him. We got to figure out something to call him officially.
Buck host.
Yeah, he's part of the team.
He's part of the SoCo show unit.
There you go.
G Unit. The fucking Young Money, young podcast is, I don't know. YMCMB. Anyways.
There you go.
Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next podcast.